check in here and meet a local sculptor. What sort of art can people expect to see when they drop in to see you this weekend?
Well, they can expect to find a variety of functional art like candelabras, wall sconces, various furniture, to just pure sculpture, various figurative work out of stone or metal. And I use a combination of found materials. I go out and use recycled metal, which I usually find myself, as well as local stone and wood from the various beaches, and to combine them together to create unique pieces of sculpture.
Tell me how you made the jump from stonework into metalwork.
Well, I started with stone sculpture, and then I decided that when I set up a little studio in my home, I wanted people to come in feeling like they were walking into an artist's environment. So I went and spent a couple weeks in a garage by myself cursing until I figured out how to weld, and I basically taught myself how to create the wall sconces and the various furniture. And when people came over for my very first show, they decided that they wanted that as much as my sculpture, and as a result I could start making a living as an artist right away.
What do people get out of coming to this Eastside Culture Crawl?
You get to discover that we actually have a very, very rich city. There is such a variety of talent here, and a lot of it is focused in the downtown east side. And people have been hearing the downtown east side on the news quite a bit, but this is a whole different angle on it.
I started doing this work about 13 years ago. I spent my childhood being dragged off rock hounding with my dad, so I'd always been around stones. My grandmother was a primitive folk artist, so I'd always been around art. And I loved working with my hands and being creative and problem solving. And when I tried sculpting, suddenly all of those things fit and made sense. Sometimes when I'm looking at a sculpture, I'll think, okay, this little piece here doesn't belong, so I'm going to remove it. And then I'll stop and I'll look at it again, and I'll notice that maybe this piece shouldn't be here. So then I'll take that off. So I don't have to know everything all at once. If I did, it would be way too intimidating. I just have to know each step I'm taking before I take it. On my wanderings off into the woods and the beaches, I always find interesting bits, whether it be stone or metal. And this is my little treasure trove of interesting bits of metal, things that inspire me in some way. These wonderful little gears here, I think they make wonderful bases. So I usually clean them up and I use them as a base for one of my sculptures, mixing them in with stone. Like having a conversation. If you think of this stone as the most stubborn person you've ever had a talk with, you never go into it saying, okay, this is what I want you to be, because of course the back gets up, and in case of stone, chips go flying off in all of the wrong directions. But if it's more of a discussion where it's like, well, this is what I would like you to be, what do you think? That's when the stone is usually a little bit easier to carve, and interesting shapes start coming out of it.
I went and taught myself how to weld about 9 years ago. And since I taught myself as opposed to taking a course, I have no idea what I can't do.
I really want to create something beautiful, and I want people to start looking at their environment a little differently, start looking at the things that they normally walk past, and start seeing the potential in it. And I think that applies to the people around you as well as the inanimate objects you walk past. So hopefully it opens people's eyes and introduces a little more beauty to their life.